Welcome to the Warrior Path, your #1 source of wisdom and insight. The Warrior Path is a name in which carries the meaning of living your life with purpose and true meaning, carrying mental fortitude, integrity, honor and strength to the very end. Many warriors across the ages founded their own legacies and cemented their names in the history books. Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, Caesar, the list goes on. But every man has a model they look up to, for many would admire the generations before them. But a man who we all base our warrior ideology upon is the great Achilles. Long ago in ancient Greece there was a king named Peleus and a sea nymph named Thetis who fell deeply in love and were married. All of the gods and goddesses were invited to their wedding except for one, the goddess of strife and discord, Eris. Seeking revenge for not being invited, Eris threw a golden apple among the guests with the words, "For the fairest," written on it. This sparked a fierce competition among the three goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, as they all believed they were worthy of the title. They asked Zeus, the king of the gods, to decide who was the fairest. Unable to choose, Zeus appointed a Trojan prince named Paris to settle the dispute. The three goddesses appeared before Paris, each offering him a bribe in exchange for the golden apple. Hera offered him power and prosperity, Athena offered him wisdom and skill in battle, and Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman in the world, a woman named Helen who was already married to a Greek king. Paris, being a young and impulsive prince, chose Aphrodite's bribe, and thus began the Trojan War. Helen's husband, King Menelaus, gathered an army of Greeks to march against Troy, led by the greatest warrior of them all, Achilles. Achilles was the son of Peleus and Thetis and was raised by the centaur Chiron, a wise and skilled teacher. He was trained in the art of war and was known for his incredible strength, speed, and bravery. He was also blessed by his mother to be invulnerable, except for his heel, where she held him when dunking him in the water of the river Styx. Achilles, along with his fellow warriors, including his close friend Patroclus, sailed to Troy to fight against the Trojans. Upon their arrival, they were greeted by King Priam's son, Hector, who challenged them to a duel. Achilles readily accepted the challenge and emerged victorious, earning the respect and fear of the Trojans. However, Achilles' pride and ego began to grow, and he became arrogant, disrespecting the gods and his fellow Greek warriors. This angered Apollo, who sided with the Trojans, and he sent a plague that killed many of Achilles' men. Achilles consulted with his mother, Thetis, and she advised him to offer sacrifices to the gods and return a captured Trojan princess, Chryseis, to her father to appease Apollo. However, this meant giving up his prized possession, a Trojan slave girl named Briseis, whom he had developed feelings for. Filled with rage and anger, Achilles refused and withdrew from the war, causing the Greeks to suffer numerous defeats. In desperation, King Agamemnon, the leader of the Greek army, sent Patroclus to convince Achilles to return to battle. But when Patroclus was killed by Hector, Achilles' heart was filled with sorrow and guilt, and he swore revenge against Hector. Achilles' mother pleaded with Zeus to help her son, and the god aided him by sending him new armor forged by the god Hephaestus. With his new armor, Achilles returned to battle, and after a fierce duel, he emerged victorious and killed Hector, ending the Trojan War. But he still carried a heavy heart. He had fulfilled his vow to his fallen comrade and had exacted his revenge on Hector. But the emptiness of victory without Patroclus lingered in his soul. Achilles, now with Hector's body as a grim trophy, returned to the Greek camp. Despite his triumph, he found little solace in the cheers and praise of his fellow warriors. The spoils of war could not fill the void left by the loss of his dearest friend. Achilles felt the weight of sorrow and guilt for not having been there to protect Patroclus. As days turned into weeks, the funeral pyres of the fallen warriors burned day and night. Priam, the king of Troy and Hector's father, approached Achilles, his heart heavy with grief and a plea for the return of his son's body. He spoke of the universal ties of grief and fatherly love, transcending the boundaries of war. Achilles, moved by Priam's words, agreed to a truce. He returned Hector's body to the Trojans, a symbol of the humanity that still existed amidst the brutality of war. The gesture was seen as a moment of compassion and mercy in the midst of the harshness of battle. Although the Trojan War continued for some time, the death of Hector had a profound impact on both the Greeks and the Trojans. Achilles, too, had changed. He no longer fought with the same uncontrollable rage. Instead, he fought with a sense of purpose, honor, and a newfound understanding of the fragility of life. The war eventually drew to a close, and the Greeks emerged victorious. With the spoils of war, Achilles gathered a great fortune, but his heart still ached for Patroclus. He knew that his own fate was sealed. The prophecy of his early death, which he had tried to escape, still loomed over him. Achilles' ultimate fate would come to pass during a skirmish in the city of Troy. In the heat of battle, he was struck by an arrow, guided by the god Apollo, in the one vulnerable spot he had, his heel, where his mother Thetis had held him when she dipped him in the river Styx, making him invulnerable except for that one spot. The wound proved fatal, and Achilles met his end on the battlefield, surrounded by the memory of Patroclus and the echoes of a war that had shaped his destiny. His death was mourned by both the Greeks and the Trojans, as he was known as the greatest warrior of all time. He was given a grand funeral and was immortalized in stories and legends, forever remembered as a hero of the Trojan War. And his name, Achilles, became synonymous with strength, courage, and invincibility. These lessons have influenced military leaders, philosophers, and writers throughout history. The moral of the story of Achilles reflects themes of heroism, honor, friendship, the consequences of unchecked rage, and the inevitability of fate. It underscores the idea that even the mightiest of heroes are vulnerable, often due to their own flaws or weaknesses. Thank you to everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. For more daily wisdom and insight, do yourself a favor and follow the Warrior Path on all platforms. As a special thanks, we want to offer you a free Positive Life Manifestation e-book. The link is in the description below. Blessings to you all. That is the way.